Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. I'm just going to wait for people to come on, and then we'll get rolling. But let's start with our, right out of the gate. Start with this. Give it a few shuffles, see what happens. Oh, there's one sticking out. Curious about that one. Good morning, older sibling. So, got some interesting things to talk about today. It is Martin Luther King's birthday. Or not birthday, sorry, his birthday was Saturday. It is Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Here in the United States, we celebrate one of our great leaders. Let's see. We'll talk a little bit about that. So, hold on one moment. There's one thing I meant to look up before I started this, and then my mind. Good morning, T. My mind is kind of all over the place, guys. It has been a weekend, but no complaints because so far everything is going well. My dad, got COVID. So I wasn't going to share that, but for some reason I did. I think most people that watch this don't really know him. So, because most of my family, I don't think really, a lot of my family doesn't watch this, but good morning, Eileen. But yeah, I guess it's really no secret. At some point, everyone's going to find out that my dad got COVID, and I think he had it for about 2 weeks before, he finally was sick enough to go into the hospital, because my father's very stubborn. He's very, very independent and mildly crazy, I think. Guy lives life on the edge. But, yeah, and it's like, well, I don't have COVID. It's like, yeah, sorry. It finally caught up with you, pal. But, my dad and I have very different views when it comes to this subject. So I'm just going to leave it there. But, mostly he went in, though, because he has what they call congestive heart failure, only because he's had heart problems in the past. So, the term sounds scary, but it's not as scary as it sounds, if that makes any sense. So let's just get started with this. I'm sorry. I am just super duper bouncy. It has been I'm sorry. I'm just trying to read something here, you guys. So I apologize for, let me see. I like my forehead. So trying to read something on my computer. But it's also Betty White Day, right? Because it's the 17th. She would have been 100 years old this year. Good morning, baby sibling. So all the things. But yeah. So yeah, anyways, COVID's no joke, guys. If you have underlying problems, please just take care of yourself. I know a lot of people try to downplay it, saying, oh, it's just like the flu. And in a lot of cases it is. But my father has underlying conditions, which is why he's in the hospital, because his O2 levels were low. It can actually, if not taken care of right away, if you have heart problems, and even if you don't, it can cause long-term heart issues. So all the things. So just try to stay healthy, take care of yourselves. Don't be blasé or, about this until it goes away. I mean, don't be afraid. I tell people this too. Don't be afraid of it, because when you're afraid of it, you're going to put the wrong energy out there and bad things are going to happen. So just treat it with a healthy respect. I think that's what it is. But yeah, so that's a little bit why I'm beside myself. I'm just, then I constantly having to update a lot of family. So, but he's in good spirits. He's great. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for that. So, but yeah, my dad is stubborn though. So my dad is very, very stubborn. So I think they just want to keep him until they know that he is going to be okay, like 100% better. So anyways, let's just start with these. All right. The question is not what you look at, but what you see. Henry Thoreau. He was very thorough about that. Sorry, I couldn't help it. The question is not what you look at, but what you see. What do you see when you're looking at something? Do you see the beauty in it? Do you see the anger in it? Do you see the potential in it? Or do you just see everything that can go wrong in it? It's all perspective, right? Right? I mean, that's fitting, right? So it really is. It's all perspective. Congratulations, you have succeeded. Pat yourself on the back. It's the Tri-Wizard Cup. If there is something that you have, if you're kind of not feeling like you've made it past a certain level, or whether you leveled up or not spiritually, I feel this is like it's more of a spiritual type, pushing towards a spiritual type thing. And I say that only because a lot of times when we're in a healing process, we get a little confused on where we're at, because a lot of times the feeling is so subtle, and the level up is so subtle that you're kind of like, did anything change? And then you have to wait for something big to happen to realize that, oh wow, okay, I get it. I handled that so much better. So if you've been going through one of those things where you're in a self-healing process or healing trauma or something, just know that you're on the right track. And yes, you have made it to the next level, and you are ready to start the next level. Well, that was very redundant. Be you, not someone else. Own your style, own who you are. Yeah, this card is totally mine. I just walk to the beat of my own drum every day. But yeah, be you, not someone else. Good morning, Victoria. So yeah, own your style, own who you are. Don't, it's like I always say, don't limit yourself to other people's beliefs. Don't limit your potential to what other people think you're capable of. Just be who you are, do what you want to do, make your own decisions. If it ends up being something that, you don't like after all, don't say, oh, well, they were right. Just say, you know what, at least I tried and I found out. Okay, so don't limit yourself to other people's beliefs, and just be yourself. Wear what you want to wear. Be who you want to be. Take a deep breath or 3 and then straighten your crown. Oh, I so need this one. Take a deep breath or 3 and then straighten your crown. I need to straighten my crown today. Life keeps knocking my crown off my head. Live in the sunshine, swim in the sea, drink the wild air. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Allow yourself to enjoy life. Give yourself permission to do so. Yesterday, I had to drop some stuff off to my dad in the hospital. And then I can't see him because he's on the COVID floor. So he told me, he said, now go enjoy yourself. And I thought, well, I'm just going to go home and watch the movies. And I think at that point, my mental health was kind of getting the better of me. Because, you do worry. I know he seems in good spirits. He seems fine. We talk fine. He's not struggling for air. And, well, of course, he does have a tube of air up his nose. But, those little things. But, I think they're just, like I said, they're just giving him the meds and stuff. But I had a choice yesterday to either go home and just sit there like a lump, or do what he said. So I drove around. And because I was exposed to him, I was definitely trying to stay away from people just in case, because I am vaxxed and boosted, but that's a personal choice. So I'm not going to tell people what they should or shouldn't do. I can think about it, but I'm not going to say it out loud. But yeah, that really is a personal choice, and that's not my choice to make for other people. But I did. I went out and I decided to go enjoy myself. I even drove out to Ocean Beach, which I don't know. I know, I get it. Ocean and beach, they kind of hit each other, but it just seems like the laziest city name in the entire world. But, and I went to Sunset Cliffs, and it was a little hazy, so I don't think I would have gotten a good sunset, but damn, the swells out there yesterday was amazing. It was crazy out there. So, it was a beautiful day, and I spent about three or so hours out there just tooling around and, just taking in the sights, just driving around my old hometown. So, the writer, you are the author of your own story. Make it a good story. You are the author of your own story. Make it a good story. Okay, this is going to sound terrible, but when you die, how do you want people to look back on you? as a kind person. You know, it's not about whether you lived or not. I mean, there are a lot of people who don't feel like they do a lot of things in life, and people look at them and go, wow, are you kidding? You've done a lot in your life. It's about how you want people to talk about you. Were they a kind person? Were they a good person? You know, so-and-so was this, so-and-so was that, or so-and-so was like, oh my God, you know? So make it a good story. Make it a kind story. Find your balance, find your light, shine happily like the sun. And it's a sunflower, right? It's so pretty. You know, that would actually make a really cool clock, all right, with that little mandala in the middle. Find your balance, find your light, shine happily like the sun. I don't need to add to that. Platform 9 3/4. We get this card. I swear we get this card every time I do a card pull in the last 4 or 5 perspectives. You have to trust what you are running at will see you through to the other side. So whatever it is that you are going for, whatever it is that you are running at, even when it feels like you are hitting a wall or that it looks like you're going to hit a wall, you have to trust that this is going to see you through the other side. Just like in Harry Potter, if you're not familiar with it, in order to get to platform 9 3/4, you had to run like hell at a brick wall. Okay? You had to run at a brick wall and just trust that you would get to the other side. Oh, and how funny. Because in part 2, Dobby did not make that possible. And guess what? Harry Potter ran right into the wall. But you are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. Dobby's free. So anyways, all right, let's get rolling. Let's get rolling here. I just got a text from my dad. You can call if you want. Does this guy not know I have a show in the morning? I swear. Being retired, right? Retired life. So, I pulled a card that I'm going to read at the end of this. In my haste to pack to come down here on Friday, I remembered a lot of good cards for pulls this week. I forgot everything else. I'm lucky I brought clothes because I was more concerned about the show than I was about everything else. But, well, obviously I'm getting to my dad, but that's why I was in such a rush. But, again, I know I'm not supposed to apologize and I'm waiting for baby sibling to yell at me. But, my brain is just out of sorts right now. So, you know, please bear with me. I actually think I'm doing better than I thought I would be. But today, I had a quick chat with older sibling, and she says, it's Betty White Day. I mean, we both know it's MLK Day because he's one of our heroes. But, so it's Betty White Day. Be like Betty. See, I told you baby sibling was about to say it. She's all, so the whole phrase is be like Betty. Okay. Be like Betty every day. Okay, seriously, it is not that hard. Be like Betty every effing day. Okay? I mean, I'm sure she didn't have great days every day, but this is a woman who literally, it still breaks my heart that she died several weeks before her birthday. Okay, before her 100th birthday. Turns out she had a stroke 6 days before she actually passed on. But on the bright side, she said she was never afraid of dying because she just wanted to be with her husband again, who I believe passed away in the 80s. I mean, that's love, right? They were married for like 18 or 19 years, and she was ready at any time to just be with him again. But be like Betty every day. This woman did so much for animals, and I would say she did as much for animals as she did for people. And you didn't have to know her to know this. Just look at the way she lived her life, right? She lived her life to the fullest. She was still acting up until the last few years of her life. You know, she was doing stuff. She was living. Older sibling had the opportunity to meet her several times because she was also part of the SPCA LA. That's a tongue twister. So it's basically the ASPCA, but in Southern California, Los Angeles. And older sibling's stepmom was one of the people that worked with the SPCA LA. I'm not sure if she was on the board or not, Gladys. But, you know, so they had the opportunity to meet. And I have to say, I gush over people that just love animals. And I wasn't always an animal person. I mean, I love them, but I was never really truly understanding of how important these beautiful creatures really, really are until I had my own. Okay? And they're my babies. I mean, they're my babies. And I say that, I mean, my little fur baby at home, my Pixel, she's just, older sibling was telling me she misses me. You know, in fact, when she put me on, I think she put me on speaker, all I could hear was purring. It's like, Mom. But I think some people just say, oh, well, they're just animals. No, they're not just animals. Every living thing on this planet has some sort of feeling. Even a goldfish. I mean, a goldfish probably just feels surprised 2,000 times a day because their memory is so short. It's like, ooh, okay, you know. they're like the Dories of the fish world, but not on purpose. I mean, or on purpose though, because you know their memories are so short. And you know, I think everything has a memory. If you touch a tree has a memory. And you know, people might be saying, oh, you're talking out of your ass. But even rocks. Can you imagine how much a rock has seen in its entire existence? Because most rocks have been here pretty much for the entire existence of the world, right? They're a part of the planet. I mean, they're literally a part of the planet. You know, the crystals you see that bring off energy. Oh, and Sibling said, also actors and others for animals. Oh, is where she first met her and they became friends. Oh, that's so sweet. See? Betty White. I mean, you know, older sibling. I mean, everybody loves her that meets her, so not a hard stretch to become friends with her. But yeah, be like Betty. Okay? But be like her every day. You know, commemorate her birthday. If you want, there was a big thing going around for a while that says, you know, on her birthday, everybody should donate at least $5 to, you know, a rescue shelter or, you know, to an animal cause. So, you know, if you feel compelled to do that, do that. If not, at least spread the word, you know, put something out there that even just a meme or something about how important animals really are. You know, I mean, Sibling has a zoo. Okay. She's got she's got all animals, including my 2 nephews. Talking to her on the phone yesterday is always an adventure when they're around because it's Auntie Shelly. I love them. I do. I love them. But yeah, she's got the zoo, the Crumb Zoo. But oh, I'm sorry. I have all these things in my head going around because I do love those boys though. I love all of her animals. All of them. But yeah, but I mean, she has menagerie. You know, she never thought she'd be a cat person either until Landon brought Spooky home. You know, he wanted a ferret, and then all of a sudden it's like, I think I'll have a cat. Now she has 3. Although in her defense, she inherited 2 of them. So, but that was her choice. That was her choice. And she knew it was best that they stay with her. So, you know, and oh boy, they're her snuggle bugs. So yeah, be like Betty. And she said that was chaos on the phone. It's always chaos on the phone when they're around for the most part, but that's okay because like I said, they love me, you know, sorry about the mic. And it's not because they love me that it's chaotic or that I'm okay with it. It's just because, you know, a lot of times it's just like, you know, they're sharing with their mom. It's the weekend. They're doing stuff. They're ramped up because they're boys, you know, they're kids. But then of course they want to share. And I love that because that keeps me in touch with them. So, it's always good when that happens. Not easy, but good. But, yeah, so just really, it's a no-brainer. Just try to be like Betty every day. Try to enjoy life. If something gets thrown at you that super sucks, take the lesson from it and move forward. Okay? If it's something that needs to be healed, heal it. If it's something that needs to be forgiven, forgive it. Remember, forgiveness is not about letting somebody off the hook. It's about freeing yourself from their power that whatever they did to you has over you. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about, it is MLK Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Here again in the United States. Oh, and before I forget, happy birthday to my friend Heidi. She lives in the Bay Area, and one of my work besties. But yeah, it's her birthday today too. So happy birthday to you. So we all know the I Have a Dream speech, right? And we all know how emphatic Dr. King was when he said, "I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." What I was looking up earlier was when that speech was written. Okay. 1963. 59 years ago this summer, he gave that speech. 59 years. Okay, 59 years. 54 years ago this year, he passed away. So why are we still doing what we're doing now? Why are we still judging one another? Why are we still looking at other people and saying, ugh, you know? I live in a very precarious state. Okay. Oh, good morning, Dad. Okay. Don't tell him I told you he has COVID. But anyways, when I say I live in a kind of precarious state, I mean that it might not even be the right word, but I live in a very, I will say, peculiar state of being, because I lovingly refer to myself, all right? I know a lot of people take offense to it, but I lovingly refer to myself as a half-breed. You know, I know my parents didn't like it. I don't know if they got over it, but I know my mom hated it. My mom hated it when I called myself that, but I call myself that lovingly. You know, or Heinz 57, right? But I'm half Asian. So sometimes I can get away with being white. Other times it's just obvious. I mean, this is my natural hair color, okay? But a lot of people do. I mean, my dad is mostly Caucasian with Hawaiian blood. So it's always been interesting. You know, most people always treated me with respect. You know, or just treating me as who I am, because I'm just Shelly Marie. That's all I am. I'm just Shelly Marie. But when I was 14 years old, 14, okay? This is going back to in the Wayback Machine. When I was 14 years old, baby sibling wasn't even born yet. I was the captain of our safety patrol at my private school. And and that there's actually context to that, okay? As a captain of safety patrol, I am responsible for every kid that crosses my path that needs to get across. Nowadays, you have adults that do this where they walk out in the street to stop cars from going, you know, so that kids can cross safely. We had 3 corners near St. Martin's. That's where it was a Catholic school. And all of a sudden, this drunk homeless man who was carrying a very old and battered military grade canvas rucksack of sorts comes up to me and just starts calling me every derogatory name in the book. Every derogatory name in the book. And I have to stand my ground. I'm not allowed to say anything. I have to make sure that I get these kids across the street safely because I was on corner number 1. And so all of a sudden, one of my friends on corner number 3, he starts running across, okay, and coming back. Now, I to this day, I love him for this, but I can't leave my post because I am captain. So I have him and the corner number 2 person go up to the office to get the principal or to get some adult to come down. So now I'm alone. Fortunately, most of the kids had passed. But he's standing there for a good 4 or 5 minutes until somebody finally came down, just yelling at me. And I think he saw them coming because there was a hill, okay? Because by the time they got to me, he was halfway down the street. But I stood my ground. After he left, and I finally had an adult in my presence, they're asking me, "Are you okay?" My friend Jason had come back with them. You know, and he just kind of put his arm around me and said, "Are you okay?" And my classmate, he was actually my classmate too. He's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Shelly, are you okay?" I didn't know how to feel in that moment. I think it took me about 4 or 5 minutes to actually cry about it because I was just, not because I was sad, I was scared, but also because it was so hurtful and spiteful. I wasn't raised that way. I was raised to respect everybody. I was raised to be like Dr. King said he wanted people to see his children. by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And because of that, I think it was my first real experience firsthand with this kind of behavior. And he was drunk. I'm pretty sure he was homeless. And so, there's a lot of mental issues that are probably going on because it does go unchecked when you're homeless. There's so many people that if they just had the help they needed and maybe even the right medication, regimen that they needed, they could be back on their feet. And I don't know what he's seen in his life. He had dog tags, so I know he was military at some point. And that's not a reflection on our military, but it means to me now, as I think about it, there may have been some kind of PTSD. There may have been some kind of thing that just literally blew his mind and just made him so hateful and so spiteful towards other people. And that was the day I got the brunt of it. It was also the day that I decided I don't want to judge people because I know how much it hurt. And it hurt. I was 14 years old, and it hurt because I'd never experienced anything like that in my life. I mean, I've experienced prejudice on some levels from all across the board. And I mean all across the board. Even Asians, and I'm half Asian. But I think that prejudice is fear, right? I mean, I shouldn't say I think. In my personal opinion and in my humble opinion, prejudice is a form of fear. It's being afraid of, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I do think it's a form of fear, though. People trying to suppress people so that they don't get smart. I mean, back in the way back days when slavery was still a thing, like a big thing, they tried to keep them uneducated because they knew an educated slave could make many things happen. Ooh, excuse me. So it was a fear because they didn't want to lose their way of life. But I don't think you lose your way of life. If you're smart enough to do something, just follow your own path. But when you put fear out in front of you, fear is going to be your guide. You are never going to have the perspective you need to see what is actually before you. It's just like that card, right? The one we just had with the camera. It was the very first card, I believe. The question is not what you look at, but what you see. That was a quote from Henry Thoreau. It's not what you look at, but what you see. Do you see a capable person in front of you? Even when you look in the mirror. Ask yourself this when you look in the mirror. Do you see a capable person? Or do you see someone who's just so spiteful and so angry that they can't see the good in anybody or in any situation? They refuse to see the good in anyone or any situation because a lot of times perspective is also projecting. A lot of times our fears project onto others and into our prejudices about others because we're so angry in our lives, and we may not even realize it. Maybe something has hurt you. Maybe something hurt you that still hasn't healed, but you thought is healed. There's a lot of different things across the board on what can cause these different things. And it's different for everyone. It is different for everyone. I tried to gain perspective. I've talked a lot about when I lost my job and some of the things that I am pretty sure, probably led to it and the fears behind it. And a lot of it, I think, was, a fear of mental health because not enough is known about it. It's why I advocate for it, because the more we learn to understand people, and what some people have to go through on a daily basis just to stay almost balanced is so important. It is so important. Because once we end the stigma of that, imagine how many more people will come forward and get the help they need. Then you have less fear-based projecting onto other people. You have less hate projecting onto other people because, a lot of times we hate other people because we hate ourselves. I know, it might seem kind of controversial to some people, but there was a point in my life where I had so much hate for myself inside that I couldn't even see it anymore. And for as nice as a person I can be now, and if not every day is a great day. All right. I'm not positive every day. We'll talk about that tomorrow, because that's actually going to be our topic tomorrow. But, I think there was a point in my life where I was angry. I was angry at the world. I was angry at the things that happened to me. I was hurting because all of it was just trying to whoosh right up and come out. But it became such a familiar feeling to me, I didn't want to let it go, right? Because it was my wall. It was my defense. So when you're mean to people, they stay away. But I don't like that, because I love people. I may be very shy, but once I get to know people, or once they get to know me, it's fun. It's like a choo-choo train of happiness and joy, and sometimes you have your up and downs. You hit that bump in the track. But you do everything to keep that train from derailing. And my train was it was like a pileup. But the engine couldn't see it because, you're at the front of it, right? And it's all behind you. And we just kind of let it happen. So, I guess my dad just had physical therapy. Dude, are you even watching this, or are you... Oh, I love my dad. He makes me crazy, but I love my dad. But yeah, so I think the long story short is, on this day, on this, Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Betty White Day, be like them both. Just be kind to all living creatures, human and otherwise. Okay? Try to see the good in everything. Try to flip your perspective. If you start feeling angry today, take a deep breath and just, it's like I said, it's been a very long time since I had to deal with that issue that I had on that street corner that day when I was, doing safety patrol for the kids in the school, the younger kids in the school. I was still a kid. But it wasn't until today, all these years later, that I realized that there was so much more going on in that person. I mean, the people that came down to try to talk to me, they're all like, just take a deep breath. I'm sure he didn't mean it. I think he meant every word, because what he finished it off with was, or whatever the fuck you are, fuck off, go to hell. And that has stuck with me forever since that day. Who hurt him so bad, or what experience hurt him so bad that he would take this out on a child? I was a teenager, but still. I was 14 and he didn't care, and I had I had racially mixed kids with me. And by racially mixed, I mean, like, I had an African American standing there who was only in fifth grade at the time. I had a Mexican girl standing there. I did have an Asian girl, and I had a white girl. It was so weird, right? I mean, these kids were all walking home together, but and some of them were mixed. And some of them, fortunately, there were some older kids with them. So, when I told them to go, just like, take them and get them out off this corner now. And, but I mean, I don't even know what happened with these kids. I don't know if that stuck with them or if they even paid attention, because it was all focused on me. I was trying to keep the focus on me so they could go and they could feel safe. And this isn't to toot my own horn. This is basically telling us, when we are hurting, do not take it out on other people. That's prejudice. That is fear-based projecting onto other people. We often judge people by the color of the skin or by their nationality, but they have feelings, just like the person who is saying these things about these people. This speech, again, was written 59, years ago. This August, 59 years ago, he gave this speech in August of 1963. And we have not come that far. We have not come far enough from when he gave that speech. That is 2 generations ago. There are people in their 60s whose kids are having kids now, and they're starting 3rd generations, maybe even 4th in some cases. 59 fucking years, and we have not come that far. We are living in the 21st century. At what point do we get our heads out of our asses and start treating people the way we want to be treated? When you hurt somebody, are you okay when somebody does it back to you? No, you're not. You don't like it. But there's so many people out there who do it, and then it happens to them, and then they feel slighted because they think they're right. We don't always need to be right. We have to find a way to be better. We truly have to find a way to be better. And I mean everybody across the board. Everybody. Okay? I don't care what nationality you are, who you are, what walk of life you come from, whether you're sitting high up in the celebrity status or way down here in the cheap seats. Or no, actually way down there in celebrity status or way up here in the cheap seats and the nosebleeds. We have to be better. We have to learn to come together as people and to stop separating ourselves from one another. Because we shouldn't let another 59 years pass by and still be wondering why nothing has changed. Okay? Again, I want that to stick in people's heads. Google it, the I Have a Dream speech. It's a great speech. I actually did a paper on it when I was in college. And I learned so much from that speech. But again, 59 years ago that speech was written, and we have not come that far. We have come far, but we haven't come far enough. So, and you know what? Dad's right. When the media and politicians quit their agendas, and that's true, and I'm talking politicians across the board. Okay, I read another good quote today from Dr. King about how we need leaders that are not, I can't remember it right off the top of my head, I'm sorry. But it was like how we need leaders that are not so focused on money and publicity, but who are interested in justice and change. That was the gist of the meme. Another quote of his. You know, governments spend so much time being political with one another. You know, being so far over here or so far over here that nobody can see the middle. And all the people in the middle are saying, why isn't anybody, promoting change? Because we're ready in here in the middle, but nobody in the middle gets, elected. Because, nobody, it's like people just like to be angry. People just want to be mad. I'm not going to say that this world is ever going to find perfect peace. But I know that we can help one another if we stop thinking so far over here and so far over here that we can't see the middle anymore. The middle's where the party is now, guys, okay? The middle is where the party is. And I don't mean the political party. I mean the fun party where everybody intermingles and nobody fights with one another. They may have different varying viewpoints with one another, but they have a healthy discussion about it. They don't yell at each other about it. They don't try to convince the other person that their thing is right or wrong. They share and they learn from each other. And that's where we need to be now. That is how we promote change. Is by meeting in the middle, stop projecting all the anger we have inside of us and turning it into fire-breathing hate towards other people. That's the gist of it right there. That is the ultimate response, is to just look at the person sitting across from you and not look at them with eyes of disappointment, but with eyes of what happened to you that you're so angry or so hurt that you take it out on other people, that you hurt other people with it. That doesn't mean you have to associate with people like that. It doesn't mean you have to fix them. We can't fix anybody. You cannot fix somebody else. You can only fix yourself and lead by example. It's as simple as that. You have to lead by example. Now, you can plant seeds, right? You can help people grow if they ask you for help. but you can't change them. So, and yeah, Auntie Charmaine says it. Hurt people hurt people. I have hurt people when I was hurting. And I'm lucky enough that these people knew where I was coming from and did not take it personally. You know, and I'm learning to do that too. I'm trying to learn not to take things personally. And that's a part of my healing process. You know, because there are times when you feel slighted because you feel like you're not good enough. And that's a personal feeling too. If you don't feel good enough, it's because you're not feeling good enough inside. A person who is empowered knows that no matter what somebody says to them, they're okay. Okay, that they're okay inside. And it's like, well, it's just somebody's opinion of me. So I'm on my way. I'm off. All right. So I'm going to finish with this card. I turn every experience into an opportunity. My dad bought me these cards. My dad bought me a lot of cool cards. All right. I got a couple of decks here, but this one is Power Thought cards by Louise Hay. I love Louise Hay. She has since passed on, but very, very famous metaphysician and very, very positive oriented person. So again, I turn every experience into an opportunity. Each problem has a solution. All experiences are opportunities for me to learn and grow. I am safe. So again, I turn every opportunity into an experience. Each problem has a solution. All experiences are opportunities for me to learn and grow. I am safe. All right. If you are hurting inside, you are safe. And it's okay to heal. All right. If you have mental health issues that you don't want to talk about with other people because you're so afraid of being judged, find a safe person to talk to. But do it for yourself. Get help for yourself. Once I admitted I had mental health issues, that I have depression, I got myself help. I apologized a lot to older sibling who had to deal with a lot of that because she was guiding me. She was guiding me to that healing place. And that's really when all my healing began. Because I realized a lot of it is just me fighting my brain and then, you know, taking it out sometimes like a flamethrower on everybody else. So I know everybody's always like, why are you so positive all the time? It's like, I'm not always positive. But I know that as long as I'm trying to promote positivity, I know I'm trying to put something out that's good into this world. And I think that's what we all should do. Okay, so again, just go out into the world today. See how you do. See if you find yourself judging someone. And don't judge yourself if that happens. Just think, what can I do to be better? Not bitter. Okay, what can I do to be better? Not bitter. All right, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. I know this was a little deep today. I know I got a little excitable. But again, remember, 59 years. And apparently this pen, it's magical. Because, I mean, after I held the pen, my thoughts all seemed to come together like a writing pen. But it's my little talisman, I suppose. But again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you back here tomorrow for Tuesday Thoughts, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you to all the positive comments on here. All the comments, guys. I'm sorry I didn't get to each one. But I do thank you for watching. All right. I'll see everybody back here tomorrow on the Aloha Perspective. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Oh yeah, Facebook Live. It is public. Or you can catch it on a replay later in the day on YouTube. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.